It's Monday morning. If you haven't voted, please get out and vote because it's just so important, not only for yourself to exercise your franchise, but it's important for the country. But we don't know the results yet, so I thought we'd have Michael Diamond here to talk about what the results could be, because he's a smart guy, he knows politics extraordinarily well across the country. And Michael, we have the mail-in vote. Doesn't get started to get counted until later on tonight. And the poll has been saying we are just so close, it's a tie. If it isn't such a tie, could we be going for weeks, if not months, without knowing who's going to win?
It could be a bit different. Typically, if you think back to 2000, the Americans, it took them weeks and weeks and weeks. And
Chads, the hanging Chads.
The hanging Chads. And during that time, Canadians went to the polls. We marked X's on paper. We counted it by hand, and we knew who the Prime Minister was later that night. And, we could be looking at a bit of a different scenario this time for multiple factors. So number one, as you mentioned, the mail-in votes and having to count that into special ballots.
And COVID. A lot of people
with COVID, so it's going to take longer to count. You're going to have more distancing. You're going to have fewer people in one place. You're going to have masks, which isn't particularly comfortable. And if you look at some of the provincial elections, Saskatchewan, for example, there was a huge mail-in vote contingent there about a year ago, just last October. And in some ridings where the results on election night were tight, we had to wait several days for them to count the mail-in vote. And that did flip several ridings from the Sask party to the NDP, who overperformed in those polls.
So just to be clear then, if it is that close, I mean, obviously the Prime Minister stays on until there is a new Prime Minister, whether he's re-elected. But, I mean, if we go for weeks, could it be there's a lot of deal-making going on?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the NDP
because that's the next factor. So you have the close ridings and you have the mail-in vote, which is going to take longer to count. Is this going to be another minority parliament? And what does that minority parliament look like? And how many parties are there participating? And how close are the two main contenders to try and be Prime Minister? And what type of coalition do they have to try and cobble together to get? Are we looking like the typical Canadian approach to a minority government? Or are we going to look more like Israel, where you're going to have to go and demonstrate to the Governor General here that you can command
But also in Israel, I mean, and other countries where they have proportional representation, it costs a lot of money because everybody's getting bought. There could be one seat that could be bought.
I just hate
they're going to say how much money we want.
I just hate to think the expense that taxpayers would be on the hook for in a Justin Trudeau, Jagmeet Singh coalition situation. It would be debt beyond our wildest dreams. It could be very, very costly.
Or the Bloc could be getting a lot if Trudeau wants to, needs another 10 seats. Become Prime Minister.
Well, look, absolutely. I mean, Justin Trudeau's a guy who's proven that he's willing to do anything to hold on. So
spend anybody's money.
He'll spend anybody's money but his own. So we absolutely. So it could take a while to figure out the mechanics of how Parliament works. It's going to take a while to figure out some of these close results, which because of this dead heat election, it will all be pivotal. Every seat will matter.
Every second will matter. Michael Diamond, 3 minutes. Thanks very much. So now we are in the middle of Justin's vanity election. And all over mainstream news, you're going to have the same news day after day after day. We are not going to have every show between now and September 20th on the election. We are going to have some very, very important analysis and some smart ideas and thoughts that you will not find anywhere else. Hence, PayPal, please. But I just want to lay it out for you that we will also be having some people in on this show who are not big names, who have something to say about the issues. Because when it comes down to it, elections are not about the people so much, it's about the issues, how it impacts you. Stay tuned. We're going to have some good ones.